Hi, it's Ferris here from Gardening with Spirit. It's the 20th of May. It's high time for an update. It's probably been about a month. And I have lots of plants I'm getting ready to go out. And really there's a lot more I should have sown by now. I'll show you soon what I have sown. I've had a huge issue with slugs, so I'm holding back on a few things. I'm doing a separate video about what I'm doing for slugs, so I won't go into that too much detail here. And as I said, I have this here. Have you seen this? Lovely calendulas are out that I overwintered. And that's some corn salad flowering. Where I have this membrane down, I had sown things. I'd sown spinach and further on carrots, and they've all been eaten. Now some of the seedlings up the side are flower seedlings, so some things are doing well. Again, I have another overwinter there, one of the big daisies. Fennel is actually doing quite nicely. I use the leaves for juice. I do have, let's see, I've got some broad beans, and I've put up my supports for climbing beans, which I have ready, and if you can see, it's kind of listed. I'm going to have to shore it down, like peg it down either side, because the wind is just blowing it over. So I have the broad beans. I also have some in the tunnel, and part of what I've had to do lately is be clearing. If you see on the edges, there's a lot of grass, and I've had a lot of dandelions. Now I kind of love dandelions out in the field, and you know, even in the kind of lawn area at the back, I see a lot of really beautiful finches feeding on the seed head. So I've nothing against dandelions per se, but they just go all through my paths and beds, so I have to be more vigilant. I was away for about a week, and you know, a lot of them got close to seeding, so I've been spending a lot of time doing what I consider very boring things, like weeding dandelions, starting to weed the edges, and weeding the beds before I put seeds in them, before I put more plants in them. It's just something I've got to do, and as I nurture the plot more, I'll get on top of that more, but it may take a little while to do. So I have been preparing some of the beds. I have some seeds. I've been brave enough, or stupid enough, to try some parsnips and some flowers. With the parsnips, I've actually sown parsnips just in a little module. Now they don't like that, but just to see how quickly they come up, because I've had it before with parsnips that I thought they didn't even come up or germinate, whereas they came up and the slugs ate them. I have interplanted these with different flowers. I have a wildlife mix at the end, a row of parsnips, I think some nigella, and then another row of parsnips. So I tend to be intercropping a lot of things that I'm sowing. I have a lot of potatoes up. There's not really much of a tour to see. As I said, a lot of what I have done has been eaten by slugs. See, even here the peas, look at that. A couple of them are okay, and there's a couple of them that have just been completely slugged. In fact, there's even a tiny slug there. So, and another slug there. Especially now the weather was dry, it's getting wetter again, a lot of slugs. So what I'm doing with these is the couple that are strong and getting away, that's brilliant, and the other two I will replace. I do have an ace up my sleeve for the slugs that should be coming today, and I'll post about that separately in the slug video, and in a minute I will go and tend to these. So it's a busy time. I have a lot in modules, especially because of the slugs. You know, different things I'm planting up, flowers, some tagetes. I've got a leuco ready to go in. I don't think it's quite warm enough. Stock to go out, you know, parsley and flowers. That is actually a beef forage mix. And I wanted to start some of it in a tray to see what it looks like, so I can see if it's coming up properly. And that tray I will transplant out. I do have some plants in the wee greenhouse as well. I have some squashes, I have some sweet corn starting. So there is a lot going on, and I've still an awful lot of work to do. So that's a quick update from the main garden. Here's a really quick update from the tunnel. I'm still hardening a few things off. I have there the Chinese artichoke, and I'm so glad I did some of them in pots, because the ones I've done over here in the ground have been a bit slugged. That's them there. I'll have to replace a couple. I've made a new bed here for some sunflowers, extra peas, sweet peas. Again, I am having trouble with slugs at the edges. What else? We have broad beans coming into flower. Again, I have a lot of things still to put in, all sorts of things, and it's very messy, so you'll have to bear with me. It's just how it is. I didn't clean up for you. I have my oca in, I have my aluco, they're in. I'm waiting for like sweet corn to go in and other things. I put in that early courgette. My spinach is just about over. The parsley is just about over. I have to take out all these Swiss chards. 2 potatoes coming up. Cauliflowers are in. Peas are in. They went in the same time as the ones in the garden. Got spinach with them, a few flowers with them. I'm letting the asparagus kale flower. The bumblebees adore it. There's more things to come out. That beetroot and that chard, and soon that kale. And it's early in the morning and still the bumblebees are at it. So lots to do, work in progress, very messy. That's just how it is. I'll finally show you the geranium just starting to come into flower. So I'll let that have a first flush and then maybe cut it back. So all messy, all work in progress, and more will get planted, I'd say, within the next week.